One billionaire recently said that a tsunami of crypto money is moving into gold. Another billionaire just said that 10 to 15% of our portfolio needs to be in gold and or Bitcoin. Why the prediction and why the recommendation? Well, we're going to look at that in today's video. So thank you for joining me. Hope you are doing well. I'm Ric Bender and welcome to Finance Lab. Why is it that one well-known billionaire investor is predicting that crypto money, like a tsunami wave, will run into gold? And why is it that one Ray Dalio is recommending that every single portfolio has a portion in gold? Well, both men are predicting and recommending for the very same reason: the collapse of the financial system. Prepare for the collapse of a financial system. Both are billionaires. Both understand cycles. And there is a downward cycle coming. I get it. Everything's fine. Everything's fine until it isn't. And if you haven't prepared for that, then you're really going to get hurt. Today, I want to talk about you being red-pilled, you waking up to the reality that the financial system is headed for a collapse. The very simple reason, global debt continues to rise, and it's dangerously high, and it can ultimately just won't be able to handle the weight of the debt, and it will collapse. Central banks are stacking gold. They're doing their best to improve their balance sheets because they're preparing for the ultimate collapse of the fiat system. We need to prepare for that as well. If central banks are preparing for it and they're the ones who create the currency, then we should be preparing for it as well. Now, I know everybody's excited about crypto. Everybody thinks crypto is going to be the financial savior, if you will. I find it interesting that legacy media is talking about crypto, CBS, ABC. They want us to think that crypto is something unique. Many of us have known crypto for many, many years. It has become part of the system. It's become part of traditional finance now. When BlackRock talks about it and Fidelity, so on and so forth, JP Morgan Chase, it's centralized. It's part of the system. We were excited about Bitcoin years ago because it was decentralized. It was a way and outside of the system that we desperately need to be away from, because the very system that we're in is designed to dissolve our wealth. Ever since the central bank came into play here in America, we call it the Federal Reserve, it has not done you or me a single favor. In fact, we've been hurt dramatically, and I'll clearly state how this works at the end of this video. It's a wake-up call to realize you need a portion of your savings, your wealth, outside of the system. Now, I realize we have to be in the banking system. We have bills to pay, businesses to run. But as we build that portion, just as one billionaire is saying crypto's running to gold because they realize the collapse of fiat and the concern of U.S. treasuries. There's also Ray Dalio stating that because he realizes the collapse of fiat. Government continues to spend and spend. Debt is crazy. U.S. debt, first time in history, has hit $37 trillion. Last week alone, the government sold $724 billion in treasuries through 10 auctions. U.S. government is raising money as much as they possibly can. And they're spending and spending. Now, I realize there's some revenues coming in, which may make that picture look better sooner than later, but it's dangerous. And global debt is dangerous. Central banks are stacking gold because they know the currencies that they develop, that they trade, and the debt that they hold is at risk. So central banks stack gold to protect themselves from that risk. Now, I know gold to many of you isn't hip, or you think it's just a rock, or you won't listen, but it's time to be red-pilled. The financial system that you're in is not here to help you. In fact, you need to understand how these cycles work and the cycle that we're headed to. You cannot continue to spend and spend and spend and spend. Now, the stable coin might be the shiny little thing for a while, but I tell you what, it's still tied to some kind of debt, and that's in the system. I find it interesting that every branding image, for instance, of Bitcoin is a gold coin, when neither Bitcoin is gold or a coin. It's software. Now, I have nothing against Bitcoin. I have nothing against cryptocurrencies. I just want you to know this is all part of the system that at some point in time, I want you to realize you need some wealth outside of the system. And that would be physical metals. Physical metals. They are welcomed, known, and desired all around the world, internationally known, and when it comes to liquidity, not a single issue. Central banks are stacking this because they know they need to protect themselves. But individuals don't seem to be waking up, especially Westerners. They're just not waking up. But here, I want to help you wake up. A portion of your savings, a portion of your wealth. You see, you build wealth by not spending everything, and you take some of that savings and you convert that USD, which is losing value with purchasing power eroding, to, let's say, physical gold or physical silver, which holds its value, especially whenever tied to the loss of purchasing power. So here's what the world that we live in that I want you to just kind of realize this is reality, and I do need to do something about it for my future. The government promises free stuff. Politicians, they're on the stump. They promise free stuff all the time. So here comes the free stuff and the promises are made. What follows the promises but printing? The printing of currency, which increases the debt, which means the free stuff wasn't free at all. It actually increased the debt. So now the currency loses purchasing power. So now your real wages have just fallen. Your taxes have just gone up. Your savings has dissolved. And you cannot afford most things. You're poorer and you're more dependent. But the real sad story is, well, you repeat and stay in it. Year after year after year after year. It really makes no sense, does it? My passion is to help you see building wealth and preserving wealth outside of the banking system. I believe this is incredibly important. We are seeing central banks gaining more and more and more control. And tokenized money, digital money, CBDC, everything's heading towards more control from their side of things and less control on your side. You want to own things that you control. Some things you want to control. A portion of your savings becomes your wealth fund in precious metals, which the central banks are stacking. But legacy media is not telling you to buy gold. Wall Street's not telling you to buy gold. They're now telling you to buy cryptocurrency. It's part of the system which you want to begin to create wealth outside of that system, because this system is headed for a collapse. And when it does, if you're not prepared at all, it's really going to hurt. I believe it's time for many of you to wake up. To wake up and realize that history has proven the safe haven of sound money and building wealth slowly, surely, consistently, really, really works. And it provides protection from this crazy system and the central bank that we have to deal with. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate you spending time with me. If you like what we're doing and you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider subscribing to the channel and maybe share this with a friend, and I will see you next time.